Today I'm working on putting one of these to use.
Hello friends, I hope everyone's having a good day so far. I just wanted to share this recent painting that I made and maybe talk a little. As you can see here, I'm just opening a brand new pack of these Amsterdam acrylic paints. I know they're a fairly inexpensive brand to work with, but they're so much better than any other acrylic paints I've ever used. And now you can just see me prepping my canvas board with some gesso. I've actually never done this before, but this board was just so textured I knew I had to do something. So I actually put 2 layers of that down and I sanded a little bit in between. Now I'm just making a rough sketch of what I want to paint, and I am using a pencil just because it's what I'm most comfortable with at the moment. I'm calling this painting The Lonely House for obvious reasons, you'll see. The idea for it came from just scrolling on social media and finding this photo. I've actually seen a lot of photos like this over the past couple of years, and every time I see one, I'm just struck by it. Something about it is just really intriguing to me. Most of the time, whenever I'm struck with inspiration to create a painting, it's not from some deep feeling that I have inside of me that I need to process. It's usually because I see something that's very aesthetically pleasing, and I want to create my own version of it. I really admire art that conveys such a deep idea that all of us as humans can relate to, but for whatever reason, the art that inspires me the most is usually just a picture of an object or even a frozen moment in time with a pretty composition and pretty lighting. Maybe that has to do with my background in film, but who knows? I just like how I could show you an image of a teacup sitting on a table with sun streaming in through a nearby window, and it would convey a certain feeling for you. That's such a simple imagery and idea, and yet it can still invoke emotion. Anyways, going back to the painting in front of us, I don't think I've mentioned it so far in this video, but I am a very untrained artist. I am learning to be a better artist. And so at the beginning you may have noticed that I was using an oil painting brush, which I have since learned you're not supposed to use with acrylic paints, so don't do as I do here. At this point in the painting, I was really just blocking out the colors and trying to play around with how I wanted it to look. A lot of trial and error and ignoring my crooked horizon as I just get a feel for what I want. I kept getting annoyed while I was making this painting because I couldn't get the lines small enough, and I thought it had something to do with my own talent and skills and that I needed to work on that. And since making this painting, I have gone and bought a smaller paintbrush. And turns out, when you have the right tools, it makes things a lot easier. If you watch close enough throughout this video, you'll notice that I paint these lines many times because I couldn't get them small enough with the paintbrush I was using, and I'd have to go back with another color to make them small. So I guess it's always worth investing in your tools. Something I've gotten a lot better at is simply using reference photos as a reference instead of just blatantly copying what I'm seeing in a picture. And one of my goals for this year is to improve upon that. I want to be able to creatively interpret what I'm seeing instead of just blatantly painting what I'm seeing. That's one of the reasons why I've always had a hard time calling myself a creative person, because even though I can sit down and draw something that looks pretty realistic, it doesn't mean that I am very creative with the way I do it. For this painting though, I decided to use just 2 reference photos, one of them being the one I showed you earlier that inspired me, and the other one I found on Wiki Commons when I was searching for the specific type of house that I wanted to paint. It's a good reminder for any artists out there that you don't want to steal a photographer's work. You want to make sure that you're sourcing your reference photos from a place that's legal. And even though I'm not blatantly copying either of those photos, I was extra careful and went ahead and got these photos from stock websites. Okay, and here you can see me being a little lazy and not checking the color of my paint before I put it on the canvas. Because as soon as I put this down, I realized that I did not like that color green. It was way too bright and saturated. That's another one of my big goals for this year, is to work on color theory and mixing colors. Especially since I'm used to just picking the exact color that I want on Procreate. And then at this point I was becoming really focused on what I was doing, so you'll have to forgive the fact that my head's in the shot all the time. But now I'm just gonna go ahead and shut up and let you enjoy this time lapse. I hope you've enjoyed watching this little time lapse that I made, and don't forget to hit the like button. And if you have any suggestions for acrylic art courses I could take, please leave them in the comments. Hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day.